Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to your Rangers Rabble Women podcast on a Monday evening at 6:30. I am joined as ever by Demi, Wolf, and Cara. Demi, how are we?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, thanks. Wolf, still on a high?
Yes.
You well?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, nice way to start the weekend. We'll get into it, but after the first half an hour, I didn't think it was going to end the way it ended. But yeah, I mean, as JD saying here in the comments, we will rattle into it very quickly. You know what I mean? That what started the game flying, and they did. But we were dreadful. We didn't turn up the first half hour, but we'll get into that. But yep, absolutely. Still, I mean, I did the sleep out after it on Friday night, so it was nice to go in there with a smile on my face as opposed to what could have happened. But yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. Car, long time no speak. How are you?
Yeah, doing better than I have been in recent weeks. So yeah, it's nice to not have our weekend ruined and have a nice Friday night and enjoy the rest of our weekend with nothing to worry about. It was nice.
Absolutely. Demi, what was your thoughts going into the game? Because obviously, I dare say this Ibrox hoodoo's still over the team. They're still, big games at Ibrox. Was that a factor going into the game?
I mean, I had predicted 3-2 because 3-1. I had predicted 3-1, to us because, we always beat Celtic and it's been a lot of days now. I don't know the exact amount of days, but I believe just shy of 2 years. It's been a while. So I think, for me, I was pretty confident going into the game, but that might have been more delusion than anything else. But hey ho, either way, I was correct.
Yes, absolutely. Wolf, yourself, Alan, and Carr go to, and Demi as well. Go to a lot of the games. Was there a feeling going into yesterday that we were going to win, or was there a bit of anxiety in the stands?
I don't know. It's quite difficult because I always think, well, I mean, there's JD saying it's the 17th of March 2024 was the last time they beat us. I mean, that's well. I mean, that's a long time ago. You know what I mean? That's a lot of days. You know what I mean? And but I mean, as Demi says, we always beat them. We don't really. That's the first time we beat them at home in about 7 games because we've had loads and loads of draws. You know what I mean? Loads and loads of draws. But I mean, I was confident we would beat them. But it depended really on the defence for me because we're not particularly great defending. You know what I mean? Raf's obviously just coming back from an injury, so she was on the bench. Kathy's out for, we believe, a considerable length of time, going by what Leanne said in her interview the other day. So it's not really a makeshift. Well, it is a makeshift defence because you've got Leah Eddy playing at centre back. She's not really a centre back for me. You know what I mean? So Jess Pegram's only in. She's still. We've got to remember she's still only a kid herself. Although she's on loan from Brighton, she's still only a kid. You know what I mean? And Ailey Austin's just a kid. I mean, Demi pointed out before we started. I'm going to steal your thunder, Demi. We started the game with 5 academy graduates in the starting 11. You know what I mean? Recently graduated academy graduates, which is phenomenal. You know, and I'll be honest, I was confident that we'd beat them until the game started, and when they scored after the second minute, you know what I mean? There was even about 20 minutes into the game, I think it was Alan that said, he wondered if this women's supporters collaboration forum on Wednesday would get canned if we get hammered, because it looked like we were going to get hammered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I must admit it wasn't looking good early doors, but I mean, Carr, was there a worry that having the 5 youngsters on the pitch was going to be a negative for us, or did you see it as a positive? Because as Wolf says, I mean, the only ones you could argue, Mia and Laura are probably the only ones that are more senior, whereas you've got Ailey, who's probably getting towards that senior level now. The other girls that were in there, Maycroft and that, a lot of youngsters in there, and it's a lot of pressure on them, isn't it?
It is, but I trust Maycroft to turn up for a game like that more than I trust half of the older players, to be honest. Like the way that they've been playing recently, it looks like they can't really be bothered a lot of the time. So, and Maycroft always gives 100%. So I don't think it's that. The defence did worry me a little bit. Just Jess hasn't played all that much, and I think they haven't really played that much together. And I think that causes issues. You don't know what the other one's going to do, and I think that kind of came to fruition opening stages of the game, to be honest, not the whole game really, to be honest. But they figured it out eventually. But I think that's just where we're at the moment, recruitment-wise and injuries-wise. It's just that's who she's got to pick from, and that's who she's going to have to pick. So we don't really have any other options.
Very true, very true. And one of those options that's been quite pivotal this season is Ailey Austin. Demi, we lost Rachel McLaughlin. Everybody was wondering who was going to be able to fill that berth. And, Ailey Austin's taken to it like a duck to water, isn't she? She's energetic, she's pacey, she can score a goal now and again, like Rachel did. So, for Ailey to, she went out and loaned to Motherwell, didn't she? Or Motherwell it was, wasn't it? And, you wondered then what was her future, but my word, she's come in and, she's grabbed her chance, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think sort of last season, certainly, sort of in the first half of the season, and, we didn't really see much for, she was coming in for 10 minutes at the end of a game, maybe once a month. We were only really using her if it was like a sort of, last resort almost. So, none of us could really see what her future would be at Rangers because we hadn't seen her play enough football. But, she's come in and, probably, albeit she's only come in due to lack of recruitment and, not having anyone else to play there. But she's come in and, made it her position for someone else to come and steal off of her. So, I think she's been brilliant since she came in and she's quite good. She can, she's good on the attack as well and, can sort of get back to defend. But like I say, I think it's absolutely, it's her place to lose now.
Brian, I think on Ailey Austin and our move to Motherwell, I think we all sort of questioned the Christmas loans, the January loans that we had. When Ailey went out, when Laura Berry went out on loan, we questioned all these. We thought, why are we doing this? We're short of bodies, but they've come back, and the experience they gained last season out on loan, we're reaping the benefits of that now. So I mean, fair play to Donald or whoever it was that made the decision. Look, they're going out on loan at that time when we could probably have used them, because we were struggling for certain positions as the season went on last season, but they've come back. I mean, Ailey's definitely benefited from playing regular football because she's an absolute star on that team. As Demi says, she'll score a goal up and down the line. She's a lot more physical in the tackle than she used to be. There's talking about that. There's Paul saying it's not a negative on Maycroft, but she certainly holds on to the ball. She probably does. And we could probably put her out on loan for her to lose that. But she's too good to go out on loan. And hopefully, May will get that. I'll get that sort of, taught out of her if you like. She'll realise that you don't get that much time. Because the time she's getting on the ball, if she went to like a Motherwell or a Hamilton or a Hibs or a Hearts or whatever on loan, she probably would get that time on the ball. But playing in another midfield, she won't get that time on the ball. And the only place she's going to learn that's with us. So they seem to have got that bang on, keeping their hearing up. Because we've criticised this season the amount of decent young players we put out on loan early doors, which has left us really short. Now, we could have done that with me, but we haven't. So, I mean, fair play to whoever made that decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Carr, speaking, Maycroft, she's only recently just turned 16 year old. You know what I mean? It's a fair accolade that you're giving her, that you're thinking of her as an almost nailed on sort of first pick now. She's in the team more regular than she isn't now. And as Wolf says, Dald and the team that decided not to loan her, because I think you were one of the more vocal ones when Laura and Ailey went out and loaned to Motherwell. You weren't exactly pleased with that, but it must have been very tempting for them to loan May out because of her age, experience, but they felt that she was good enough to keep around the building, and it looks as though that their judgment's paid off.
I don't know if her age maybe played a role in that. The fact that she was only 15 at the time, maybe a lot of clubs wouldn't want to take essentially an academy player from us because we have that many of them. Why wouldn't someone else of her age be sent out on loan, kind of thing? So it's maybe helped us that she was only 15 at the time. We've kept her on, we've seen what she can do, and then we've had that many injuries that she's had to play, which has helped us. So I don't know if that's played a factor in it, but either that's just a coincidence and we've got really lucky that we've kept her around the building and she's been incredibly helpful for us. She's obviously got things to learn. She's still young, but our academy is incredible. The players that we produce, especially in the midfield, for some reason, I don't know what they're doing at Auchenhowie, but it's just crazy. like what they're doing. But she's such a good player. I do agree she does take a little bit of time on the wall, but I think a lot of our players do that. They dilly a bit. They don't want to get rid of it. They don't want to make the pass and make the wrong decision. So I don't know if she just picked that up from players around her, to be honest, more than it being a young thing. I don't know, but she's an incredible player with a bright future ahead of her, and hopefully we get to keep her for a long time, because it worries me how many of our young players that we end up losing, they go down south and then we suffer because we've lost them.
Right, Brian, before we get into the game, and I'm not trying to put it off because it's a great game that we want to talk about, right? That segues beautifully into something that Martin actually asked, and I think somebody's asked it in the comments as well. Give me a second. I think you've starred it, if I can find it. There we go, from Paul. Martin basically asked this question last night and said, keep it for tonight. Is players that have left us before, like Chelsea, Kirsty Howitt, we Iniesta, how long can we keep Maya? Martin's actual question last night on the pod, until yesterday afternoon on the pod, me and Alan did to get asked tonight, was how long can we keep Mia? So, Cara, I think you're probably the best place to give your thoughts on that first.
I'd like to think that we get another season out of her, but but then I don't know if her seeing what's happened with any really, more than probably the rest of them, the fact that she's gone down south, the team that she's gone to, it's not doing well. Maybe she will stay another couple of seasons just to get that more experience under her belt, stay with her family a bit longer. But then if a really good team comes in for at that age, you're going to get more money, kind of playing hopefully more European football or whatever. She might go, but I don't know. She loves it here. She loves us. She loves the club. She gets it, and I don't know if that will really hold her here, that she thinks I want to go and hopefully win another league, win some more cups, get some more experience. But you just don't know, because I didn't think any was going to leave, and then she did. So you really can't call it.
Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's somebody's just said in the comments there, I think it's Sniper. You've kind of just got to enjoy her while she's here. We said that with Innie as well. We've just got to enjoy them while they're here, because they're marvellous young players, and obviously you want them to stay. You always see Rangers as the end game, as far as you don't want any of your players to leave. But in the grand scheme of things, Rangers is small fry compared to the WSL, I'm afraid. And it's just where it is just now. So I just feel we've got to enjoy her while she's here. I don't know if you're the same, Demi.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's 20, 21, whatever we're paying her. If the WSL come down south and offer to pay her, even double, let alone 2, 3 or anything more, even if they're offering, to pay her even double what we are, she's going to go, because as we always say, football's a short career, and yeah, it's all good and well being like, yeah, this is the team I support. I want to stay here and win trophies. But, unfortunately, playing for who you support and winning trophies, it's not going to pay your bills long term, is it? When she's older and moves out, a smaller wage up here isn't going to sort of, set her up for life. So I do reckon that, if someone comes in, if the right club comes in, with the right amount of money and, the sort of right negotiating points, that I do think she'll be away. But, like they say, let's just enjoy watching her while we have her.
Absolutely.
And Brian, sorry, to pick up on Graham's point, Jody will be another one who'll end up in the WSL. He's probably right. But I think that, Mia's probably better than going to the WSL. I think she'd probably be better served going to maybe Germany or Spain. You know what I mean? Something like that. I think her talents would be. Don't get me wrong, she'd do well in WSL. But I think she would do really, really well going over there. However, she might look at Sam Kerr going to Bayern Munich and not really working and go, well, maybe better just go to England.
I know you have to. I mean, you have to look at the WSL as well. I mean, look at the big clubs. So certainly Arsenal, I believe Chelsea are the same. Potentially Man United. A lot of their starting players, they're not getting any younger. So people have to come in and replace them, and excuse me. So I think if Mia and players like that, they just keep showing what they've got. Who knows to say that 2-3 years from now they're not taking over from the older starting 11 players currently in the WSL just now.
Yeah, I mean, Cara, I put this one up earlier. I think regret's maybe not the right term. I think a lot of the players that left recently, like the Rachel McLaughlins, the Chelseas, the Kirstys, the two Kirstys, sorry. It was probably they probably felt they'd done as much as they could. Didn't they'd achieved everything at the club, and they probably felt that if they didn't take the chance to go now, maybe the chance would never come. Is that probably more sort of what their thoughts would have been?
Yeah, I mean, all of them that have left have technically won everything in Scotland, so you can't really say that they would have stayed for that. I think the older ones, especially, like they want to look. Kirsty Howard, for example, wasn't really getting a look in the Scotland setup. Got a couple of call-ups with us, goes down south, immediately called up because there's more eyes on her. She's getting more recognition now. So I think that plays a part in it, but I think regret is the wrong word, but they probably are watching what's happening up here and maybe wishing that they were still part of that. Obviously, even the likes of Joe is still obviously paying attention and posting on Instagram after the result on Friday. Kirsty Howard, the same, was taking a very keen interest in what Mia was doing when she scored her goal. So they obviously still care. They're fans of the club. So maybe they'll have a little bit of pain and wishing that they were still here. But I'm sure the money and being able to play in England outweighs that to a certain extent. But I think for Innie, maybe a little bit, just because she's not playing that regularly. She's not really a starter. But that could just be to her age, the setup that they have down there, and they're not doing that well. So I think they're just trying to figure out what's going on at Liverpool, to be honest, because they're not doing great. But it could be. I don't think it's regret, but it probably will be a bit of maybe I should have stayed a little bit longer for Innie, but the rest probably not.
I mean, Brian, the way we've got to hope they look at it, or that like at Mia and Jodie, I hope they look at it and go, well, look, Innie's not really flourished. Emma Watson went down there, and okay, she did a cruciate very early on in her spell at Man United. But I mean, the players of their sort of similar age and similar ability at the time they left, it didn't really work, so that might encourage them to stay a little bit longer. But for that to happen, we really need to get our shit together as a club. And I know the money's not going to be anything like it is at WSL, but we really need to get properly organised. Next, getting back into Europe would be a good start, because that way, there will be a bit more money involved in there.
Yeah. Paul's asking, do we know the injury and the length with Brogan? I'm not sure if there was a time scale given, Carr, from Leanne on the pre-match sort of conference. She said I don't think she was given time scales, was she?
I don't know. I was told it'll be after the next international break. She's back on the grass, which is good. It was a hamstring issue that she had. She's back on the grass, but I think she's not fully sprinting yet. So they obviously want to make sure that she's obviously able to do that, because Brogan's no use if she can't sprint up and down the wing. So it should be after the next international break, barring any setbacks. But hopefully there's not any more.
Yeah, this is a good point as well from Keith Demi. Always thought Kirsty McLean would have been a perfect replacement for Kim Little at Arsenal. Should have stayed with us another year and signed for Arsenal and loaned back to us. I mean, if you're signing for Arsenal are signing you for one reason, and one reason only, is because they think you're going to start for them. Arsenal don't usually sign players to warm benches, or So I can get where Keith's coming from, but I don't think they would have loaned her back to us, would they?
I don't think they'd have loaned her back to us, but I could have seen them loaning her to, like lower end WSL or WSL 2 clubs, because exactly, like I say, how long has Kim Little got left? I mean, I think her, but you know what I mean? The hers, the Leah Williamsons, those people, they're just playing for as long as they can now. They've retired internationally. They're enjoying club football while they have it. They could have an injury tomorrow that makes them retire. They could be playing for the next 5 years. So, but Arsenal will be looking, not just Arsenal, but all the big clubs, they'll be looking for replacements, for their players who are fairly getting on a bit. But, I don't think they'd have loaned her back to us. But, I think if they had signed her, I could have seen her being loaned to, a WSL 2 club, just like Emma Watson's done. Yeah,
absolutely. And well, I suppose 20 minutes in, we better start speaking about the game, eh? Gee whiz, time's flying.
Go on and get the team line up ready.
Gee whiz. So the team line obviously was Jenna Fife in goals, Nick Docherty, Leah Eddy, Jess Pegram, and Ailey Austin. And in the defence, May Croft, Jodie McCleary, Mia McCauley, Quinty Sabaggio in the midfield, with Laura Berry and Katie Wilkinson up front. I think, Demi, there wasn't really much. Again, we've said this for a number of weeks now. I don't think Leanne can really do much with what she's got. Really, she's sort of piecing a team together, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at the bench, there was Thelma, Shinji, Raf, who's just back, and 3 or 4.
Cammy as well.
Oh, Cammy, and then is it 3 or 4 academy kids? 3 academy kids. No, so she didn't really, didn't really have much choice with Raf's been out injured, and Shinji's not played a lot, and we've not really seen too much of Cammy this season. So like you said, the team pretty much picked itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wolf, as you said before, just as we started, we couldn't have got off to a worse start, could we?
No, we couldn't. And defensively, it was a shambles. I mean, both goals we lost were an absolute defensive shambles. I mean, whatever game you play, I've never played football at any level, but any game I did play when I was a lot younger, it was like, just keep it tight for the opening 5 or 10 minutes. 2 minutes in with a goal down. And it's an absolute shock. I mean, I don't even think we'd been in there half with the ball when they scored.
No.
I mean, it was just a shot. I mean, the ball came across, and basically our defence just stood and looked at it. It kind of went, I can't remember who it went by in the edge of the 6-yard box, front edge of the 6-yard box, and then it just dropped between 3 of them, and their player, whatever, I don't even know if she's a striker, just got in, and there's very, very little Jenna could do about it. Horrendous goal to lose. Defensively, an absolute shambles. And right under the pump, then, as I said earlier, Brian, the first 25 minutes, half an hour, we were thinking that we were going to get destroyed here, because it was just wave after wave of Celtic. I think we just couldn't get out with our half.
And Wolf, as you say that, 28 minutes gone, Nick Dock goes in the book, Wolf. That was another potential breakaway, because if Nick didn't do the professional foul and take her down, they were in again.
As I'm saying, it was just wave after wave of Celtic attack for the first half hour. I mean, how they didn't score again mystifies me. It really does. I mean, some great goalkeeping. I mean, there was one brilliant save from Jenna that we didn't see at the time. We never noticed it at the time. I actually thought it came off a defender's leg or something, because just with the scrum of bodies between where Jenna was and where we were in the front of the Sandy Jardine. But you watch it back, and it's an incredible save. I mean, she must just have got the
big toe.
Our big toe must have stuck out of her boot or something just to get on the end of it. She must have long toenails on her big toe sticking out the boot, because I've got no idea how she stopped it. I mean, it's just, and she managed to put it wide. And if that had gone in, I think if we'd gone 2 down, I think we were really, really going to be under the pump then. But fortunately, through bad finishing, good goalkeeping, and basically throwing ourselves in front of the ball, we kept it to 1-0.
Yeah, I must admit, I was watching that and I was thinking to myself, wow, how we're still only 1 down is, as you said, Wolf, mystifying. But then, Carr, the moment came for Laura Berry. She got us back in level terms. Corner from Mia. A bit of a little stramash in the box. Nobody could clear it, and it broke to Laura, who was in the 6-yard, right on the 6-yard line, and just poked it home. What a good poacher does.
Well, if you're in the right areas, that's what happens. Rather than doing stupid short corners and faffing about, just get it in the box. Hopefully they miss it, we get it, it goes in the back of the net. Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy when Laura Berry scores. Of course I am. I think that's why you purposefully picked me for this goal, isn't it? But Mia puts a great corner in. Thankfully, the defenders can't deal with it. It's good of Ailey just to kind of poke it towards Laura, who just has to hit it into the back of the net. She's away. I said on our podcast, I don't think it's quite a knee slide. It's like a bum slide. She misjudges it and ends up sliding on her backside. But I love the passion and the enthusiasm that she has when she scores against them, and especially at Ibrox. It's always good to see. So, yeah, nice to get back on level terms. Not that we deserved it, because we were absolutely rotten. But their finishing was bad, and that's the reason that was 1-1 going into halftime.
Yeah, what went wrong in that first half hour, Demi? I mean, we literally looked as though we'd never played before. It was it was worrying, wasn't it? I mean, gee whiz, we could have been 2 or 3-0 down quite easily.
Yeah, I mean, look, the one right before the one we were just talking about, with Jenna Fife, the fact that the ball's going over all of them, including Jenna Fife, and Wilco's, the one to clear it off the line, tells you just, when Wilco's your furthest, I was going to say man, but your furthest player back, it just sort of shows you what that first half was like. But, it could be, the fact that it's an almost makeshift team, like you say, and the fact that we've played at Ibrox and that whole, the PTSD or whatever you wish to call it that comes with playing at Ibrox, maybe the wrong tactics sort of, from Leanne in the first half, but I think it shows how much they're willing to fight for each other, that in the second half they sort of they came out looking more like a football team and not like they just met on Paisley Road. And yeah, it just showed the fight.
Yeah,
Brian,
absolutely.
before we move off equalising goal, I want to give a big up to the Celtic defender for the assist, because it was an absolutely tremendous header right to Laura Berry's feet. That was a great assist. Great assist.
Absolutely. And Wolf, on the hour mark, Mia McCauley's down the left wing. She gets a ball from Nicola Docherty, beats the fullback, left-footed cross into the box, and a glancing header from Katie Wilkinson at the far corner. A really nice work goal.
Tremendous goal. I mean, let's not overlook the fact that at half-time, we made a slight change at half-time. We took Quinty Shabazzu off, who quite frankly hadn't done an awful lot. She couldn't get into the game at all. We brought on Kim Ji, who we'll get on to. She took a wee bit to get going, but that was a significant substitution as it turns out. But yeah, I mean, like you say, on the hour, great. A great ball from where am I? Where am I in the second goal, isn't it? Yeah, great ball from Mia. But what you've not got to overlook is the ball to Mia from Nick. I mean, Nick Dock's ball across the pitch was an absolute brilliant goal. Brilliant ball across. I'm getting all tongue tied. To Mia, and Alan had spent the first hour of the game saying, "Get by her, get on the byline, get to the byline, cross it in, get to the byline, cross it in." And as soon as Mia did that and Bolko put it in the corner, he turned around and went, "I fucking told you so." You know what I mean? And he was right. Alan was 100%, because we've got the quality to get by their fullbacks and get not quite on the byline, but get down towards the corner of the box and pick somebody out. And all Bolko had to do was direct it. I mean, it was a great header, but all she had to do was, there was enough pace on it. All she had to do was put it in the right direction, and tremendous. 2-1, and it's party time in there. Certainly in 3/4 of the bottom of the Sandy Jarn.
Absolutely, but then party time turned to no again. Carr Noonan, I believe it's her 8th or 9th game in a row she's scored. So back to 2-2, and you're starting to think, are we going to manage to see this out?
I mean, I didn't think we would, but this is what I think I turned to use at one point and just went, it's going to be 1-1, because that's just what we do. They score first, we get one back, and then it just stays like that, and it's a boring game. But yeah, 2-2. It comes from a throw in. Everyone's too soft. No one deals with the ball, and it goes over everyone. Noonan gets to the ball, scores. It's far too easy. We're too soft. We make stupid tackles when we don't need to, but we don't do it when we really should. But probably when it ended up being a penalty anyway. But 2-2, I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be the end of the game. We'd run about a bit, and that would be it. But thankfully, no. We finally have their number. Well, I don't know if I want to say that, to be honest, because that's probably not true. But we found a way this day to do it. But yeah, just horrendous defending. But I think that's just what happens with that defence. They just don't know what to do. It's just calamity half the time.
I mean, I think, like Carr says, we're not putting in challenges, but not even that. We're not even marking their players. I mean, for their second goal, Emma Lawton's unmarked in the box. And, the ball only gets to Noonan because, quite frankly, it literally bounces off of Emma Lawton in the direction of Noonan. There's nobody in there trying to, block Emma Lawton. She's literally there unmarked. If someone's on her, that ball doesn't bounce off her, but unfortunately it does. But, it's not the first time this season that we've seen, a defensive shocker.
And Brian, at some point between it going 2-1 and 3-2, at some point in that wheelhouse, I can't remember exactly when, I thought Nick Dock was very, very lucky to stay on the park. I mean, she was on a yellow in a challenge that I think if she's not on a yellow, she gets a yellow for, which means she probably should have been sent off. I think she was very, very lucky to stay on. But, I mean, we'll take it all day.
Absolutely. And in the interest of fairness, I'll give the third goal to Demi, because Rolf and Carr spoke about the other two goals. So we'll give Demi to speak about the third goal. What a goal this was, Demi. I mean, the ball from Shinji through to Mia controlling it, taking on the fullback, and wow, what a goal.
Yeah, look, Shinji points to Mia, tells her exactly, where the ball's going to go. Mia's right place, she can run onto it, takes it into the box. Gets the ball on the ground, goes past their fullback, and a difficult angle, but she scores from it. And me and Dad had the conversation the other day. Dad was like, "How many times have you seen Mia miss it?" But miss a chance like that. But Mia's a big game scorer. I don't know what it is, but she's sorry, start that again. I don't know what it is with Mia, but she just seems to show up in the big games, and she can always produce something. When we're in desperate need for it, and if there's any time that you expect Mia to finish that, it's at 2-2 against that lot at Ibrox, just like she did last season and in the game earlier on this season. She loves a goal in a big game.
Sorry, Jamie, we'll edit your brother that out, so don't worry about that. Nobody will see that.
Sorry, I was getting really twisted with my words.
Absolutely, but I mean, Car, I genuinely thought when Mia was going through, and when she started to settle herself to take the shot, I thought, oh no, the fullback's catching her up. She's going to, she's not going to take the shot in time. Just the way it was going, I was like, oh, please go, hit it now. Don't wait too much longer. I was genuinely worried but she left it just enough. And I take it you guys must have had a great view of that.
Well, we're kind of right at the other end because I don't know actually what section we were in, to be honest. I don't know if we were in 3 or 4, but so we're the other end. But it was a fantastic. I think we all stood up when she started running through on goal, because that's the kind of shot that Mia's always, 99 times is going to put it in the back of the net. But there was earlier in the game, she had basically the same opportunity, and she either didn't take the shot on, she passed it, or skied it. I can't remember which one it was, but I think once Mia gets her confidence up, that's the kind of goal that she'll always score, especially at that end. I don't know what it is about Mia at Ibrox. She's willing to do it, but especially that end of the pitch, she loves a goal against them at that end. I don't know if it is because their fans are right there, so she can then go and celebrate in front of them and give it the big one. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but if she can keep doing it, that'd be fantastic, especially if it's against other teams as well and not just them.
Yeah, absolutely. I must admit the celebration was top drawer. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. So we'll go on to the results from the other games.
Sorry, Brian, before we move off the game, having given the referee props for keeping the captain on the park, I think it's absolutely scandalous that at 2-2 we didn't get a penalty for handball, because that was the clearest handball you will ever see in your life. And again, the age-old Rangers problem, and it's throughout the club. I think it's at every level. It's the men, the women, the youths a lot. Nobody's badging on the ref saying, what about that then, ref, what about that? They just the Celtic player basically stuck her arm out and knocked the ball down. She thought she was playing basketball. You know what I mean? And we just let it go. It's 2-2. See, if it's 3-2, that's fine. You can say, we'll let it go. It's going the other way. But at 2-2, the team should be in the referee's ear saying, what about that? Surely that's a penalty. I mean, even if the referee didn't see it, the lines person, I think, I can't remember if it was a man or a woman on the side, I can't remember. You know what I mean? But the assistant referee should have seen it, because it's a handball as clear as day. So, yes, we were lucky that didn't get a red card. But we should have had a penalty all day long at 2-2, in my humble opinion, for what it's worth.
Absolutely. Yes. So, Hibs 1, Hearts 3, Hamilton 0, Motherwell 2, Partick 1, Aberdeen 0, and Montrose 1, Glasgow City 6, which left the table looking like Glasgow City on 31 points, Hearts in second place on 25 points, Hibs in third with 23 points, Rangers on 22 points in fourth, and Celtic also on 22 points in fifth. So still a lot of work to do, Car, isn't there? Nine points behind. So yeah, still a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of games still to come. Let's be honest. There's the split still to come. We know how crucial the split is, but it's still a sizable lead, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's braced for second at this point. I don't see Glasgow City falling off that dramatically. They'd have to lose basically every split game for us to get back up there, and I just don't see that happening. But then they're still in Europe, so maybe this week they're obviously traveling to Portugal, and then they come back and they play Hibs, so that potentially could help a little bit, maybe if they're tired or what have you. I don't know, but I think that's just optimism more than anything. I don't know if we're catching them this season. As Alan keeps saying, it's a transitional season. If the club have finally admitted that, I get that, but this is horrendous. We need to sort this out somehow. As long as we keep winning, it's all we can do, and hopefully we end up higher up the table than we currently are. But I don't think Glasgow City are going to fall away anywhere near what we need them to for us to catch them.
Brian, I love Cat. Sorry, damn it. I love Car's optimism about Glasgow City coming back and being a bit tired against Hibs. Under normal circumstances, I would agree, but Hibs are blighted by injury. I mean, that Hearts game yesterday, I watched the Edinburgh derby. Sorry, it's not a derby because Hibs aren't enough. You know the story. The Edinburgh derby yesterday, and Hibs looked really good to start with, and then they got another couple of injuries to add to the injuries they've got already. And Hearts just ran right over the top of them. Hearts were bigger and stronger than them. And I would think that City will be bigger and stronger than them as well. I don't think Glasgow City could have handpicked a better time to play Hibs after a European game because the Hibs squad's absolutely decimated. You know what I mean? And the fact that Hearts turned it around after looking so bad for the first... It was basically a Carmen Court with our game. They looked so bad for the first half an hour against Hibs yesterday, as we did against Celtic on Friday. And I think Carl's right. City's going to take some stopping because they're not losing games. They're hardly dropping a point. And the fact that everybody else is beating everybody else, I mean, you know, we're taking points off it. Okay, we've probably got Celtic's number. It looks like we've got their number, right? But Hibs are taking points off us. Hearts are taking points off us. They'll take points off each other. I think City will absolutely stroll the league because everybody else is taking points off it. It is a case of who's going to finish second. No, it has to be us because we have to get back into Europe.
Yeah.
You know, as I was going to say, you know, the league table speaks for itself. I mean, we've bet that lot. We've taken 6 points from 6 off of them, and we're still level on points with them. You know, we can beat them, which is, you know, great because it's a game that we all want to win. And I won't say any more on that, but, you know, it's a game that we all want to win, but we're losing against everybody else in the top 6, or not winning. Sorry, we're dropping points against everyone else in the top 6. They're not. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's all good that we can beat them twice, but we're still in the same league position as them. So we need to go on and do it against other teams before we worry about Glasgow City dropping points. Let's worry about us actually winning games of football against the top 6 sides.
Yeah, and as Conor was saying here, you know, without sounding like a negative Nelly, you can't win league titles if you aren't able to find ways to beat City and Hibs. Something that needs to be worked on going forward. I mean, it's totally correct, Carr, isn't it? I mean, if you're not beating one of the top 2 fairly regularly, you know, when you're not in the top 2, then you're struggling, aren't you?
We can't beat Hearts, which to me is a bigger problem than beating Hibs or City, to be honest. We drew to 1-1, was it? I can't remember what the score was against 2-2 at Ibrox, and then they hammered us to an extent when we played them away. So if we can't beat them, how are we going to do any better against anyone? I think we actually played better against Hibs in the first half than we did against Hearts that whole game, to be honest. But I don't know if it's players, if it's new manager, I don't know what it is, but the players really look uninterested so far until we go behind it, and then they kind of step up, which is too late half the time. That's no use against City because City will probably be about 4-0 up if we give them the opportunity, and then we're not coming back from that. So it is a point. We need to beat them, but we also need to beat Hearts, and we just need to play better in general to start picking up more points. So too many draws, too many stupid results, and too many silly injuries.
Yeah. Brian, as Keith pointed out in the comments a couple of minutes ago, the next 3 games, away at Motherwell, home to Partick Thistle, and away to Aberdeen. It's 9 points, or we can absolutely forget it. Yeah. It has to be 9 points. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week's fixtures include Aberdeen at home to Montrose, Celtic at home to Partick Thistle, Hearts at home to Hamilton, Motherwell at home to Rangers, as Wolf has just said. And then the big game is Glasgow City versus Hibs at that weekend. So, interesting fixtures. Demi, week prediction for Motherwell Rangers?
Motherwell 1, Rangers 6.
And Wolf, Motherwell 0, Rangers what?
Yeah, well, before I go on to that, because there's somebody, as Paul points out, you need to keep an eye on the time because you're back on again in 6 minutes. This main pod starting at quarter past 7 is really causing havoc for this pod. But anyway, it would be remiss of us not to congratulate Lee Mengwen on her Chinese victory. I'm not sure it was a state championship or something. I'm not really quite sure because I don't think it was full international, so I don't even know why she was involved in it because she's our player. But that's why she's not been here. She's been away playing for whether it's a state representative side or whatever it is. But anyway, they won the thing anyway. So she's coming back with a winner's medal. So that's got to do her confidence a bit of good. That explains why, you know, she's not been about the building. We could probably have done with them. We've been that short of bodies. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier on Wednesday, we've got the Women's Supporters Collaboration Forum, which I had to write down, or I'd forgotten the name of it, which is basically it's supposed to be, I think, round table discussions, I think, with leading members of the women's side of the club. I'm not quite sure who will. Donald will be there. I'm not quite sure who will be there, but I'll be there. I think Carol will be there. Alan's going as well, so we'll have we might even do a special pod on that if we can get time to fit it in. If not, we'll talk about it next Monday, where we probably won't have time, but we'll do it at some point. But anyway, Motherwell 0, Rangers 5.
Car?
4-1 Rangers. Laura Berry's getting a hat-trick and Will Cole score the other one.
I'll go one more than you. I'll go 7. I'll go 7-0. I think they're going to take the confidence from yesterday and go on and do well. So there we go. Or Friday night. So they're going to go on from Friday night and take a bit of confidence and score a bad load of goals. So there we go. That'll be us, folks. Join us next Monday night at 6:15 for the Women's Pod on a Monday evening as usual. My thanks to Demi, Wolf and Car. Thank you, Demi.
Thank you. Thanks,
Wolf,
guys.
thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Brian. Yes, Paul, that's one of the first questions I'll be asking. Don't worry.
And thank you, Car.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. So, as I say, 6:30 next Monday night. Join us for the Rangers Women's Pod on the Rangers Rabble. I'm Brian, Demi, Wolf, and Car. Thank you all, and we'll speak very, very soon.
And yet again, I forgot I was